Typhoon Soulik continuing to bear down on the southern Japanese islands and the northeastern coast of Taiwan. This video coming out of northeastern Taiwan, just showing these waves continuing to break on the breakwaters here. Some reports of waves up to about 10 to 11 meters high. Very short video, but intense indeed. This was aired earlier on NHK World, where I work at. Winds here in Ishigaki, where this video is coming out of, currently at 215 kilometers per hour wind gust, that is. At the time of making this video, right around midnight Japan Standard Time on Friday going into Saturday, winds were forecasted to reach up to 216 kilometers per hour. So right now, look at the radar imagery here, inner eye wall right over Ishigaki, and well, it is intense out here. We have been seeing these winds all day. Even as far northeast as Okinawa, there was reportedly a wind that gusted up to about 150 kilometers per hour there. Meanwhile, in Taiwan, James Reynolds is continuing to cover the storm on the ground there in northeastern Taiwan, feeding us some reports. This is the latest photo he put out here, a night shot, but it is definitely going to get rather intense as far as the high winds will be gusting over 200 kilometers where he is there in northeastern Taiwan, as the storm makes landfall sometime during the early morning hours. Now, actually expect to make landfall between 4 and 5 Taiwan Standard Time. Nonetheless, the outer eye wall, which was packing some winds gusting up to 200 kilometers per hour around Ishigaki and Miyakojima, you even saw those winds gusting up that high. That's going to already start to impact the Taiwan coast here. Already been seeing these rain bands today, the winds continuing to gust up. But one of the main threats as far as Taiwan goes, we've been mentioning this all week. The storm does push out here across Taiwan, and you can see it here on the radar, these areas in the darker reds right there in the north central portion of the island. These areas, especially when you get that moisture starting getting sucked in out of the Taiwan Strait, it runs up the mountains. Those mountains squeeze it out like a sponge, and there is a risk of some very serious flooding with this storm system and landslides after it pushes just along the northeastern coast. Now, it would have been worse if it had come down here a little bit farther towards the south, but this is still going to maintain its intensity, especially if it remains just on the northern periphery of Taiwan. That center of circulation, that warm core low, will continue to have its fuel source, even though the friction is going to tear the left side of the storm completely apart. It will still have enough energy to drop some heavy rain out here across most of Taiwan, especially on the west side of the island and the northern side of the island, and then move out there towards Fuzhou going through Saturday. Right now you're seeing some clear conditions out here, but flooding rains and severe conditions are definitely in the forecast once this moves off in your direction. And here we're going to use the ECMWF model, a very high resolution model, and definitely within a 24-hour period, this is the model I would go to. And we're taking a look at here the MSL and the precipitation. Well, that means sea level pressure crashing ashore here in northern Taiwan. The heaviest precipitation at the start in the northeastern periphery of the island here. But once again, the problem is going to be as we go into Saturday, this is going to scoot over Taiwan, run really, and I do expect a little jog to the north as it pushes around the mountains there, but then it's going to grab that moisture out of Taiwan Strait, and you can see these totals continuing to add up here. Some areas, you're going to see over 500 to 600 millimeters of rainfall. And then that storm's going to continue to steam off here towards the west. Still going to be seeing the high waves out here, though, even as far east as Miyakojima going through Saturday afternoon. I still expect some 10-meter high waves to continue to crash ashore, so the story's not going to be over after it does push over Taiwan. It starts to head off there towards the west. Fuzhou province, though, or Fujian province, Fuzhou city, you're going to be in the mix next. Once those winds start to carry around it, it's going to push ashore, bring all that rainfall with it. This area out here is very prone to flooding, and I do think there's going to be a high chance of some significant flooding out there in Fujian. So with that said, stay with us here at westernpacificweather.com. Even saw a little bit of intensification of the storm right before it made landfall just due to above average sea surface temperatures in that area. So it is still packing a punch. Please don't go to the Facebook page and the Twitter account, both at Western Pacific Weather. Just go check those out. We are continuing to stream information. Also, the website, we have the Tropical Information Center. Plenty of information there. Lastly, I'm going to leave you with a little bit of a time lapse here on our tropical system in Okinawa. Some waves that got kicked up there.